Yo, 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 it's your boy.
For the first time ever, we're playing a game that's come out in the year that we're actually
we're filming.
I think I wanted to do Crash 2. Crash 1 is the worst by far. David has no experience
with
Crash
played
Bandicoot.
Crash.
The first one is really hard.
I wasn't cool enough to own a PlayStation.
Pretty bad. Crash 2 is the best one, but it's probably the second hardest. This is the easiest one, and it might be my favorite, but I think this is the best one, so we're going to do this.
Okay. Let's do it.
New game. Start a new save sign. Okay. I think I said it last time. So this is the Cortex Strikes Back.
So Cortex is the villain.
Yeah, he's Mr. Krabs in the original ones, but I think they have different voices now. I haven't played a Crash game since Twinsanity on PS2.
What's Twinsanity?
That was like the 5th game in the series, I think. But they started getting pretty bad after that. Oh, so this is like right after the first you defeat him and he's falling.
Uh-oh.
There's not a lot of plot to Crash Bandicoot.
No. I mean, it's a platformer. You don't need plot.
It's like the most literal definition of a platformer because there's no puzzles. There's really no, it's basically platforming, literally.
Just jumping around.
The best thing I would compare it to is Donkey Kong Country. Because it's difficult, but the levels are short, it's very forgiving, and it's very based on, like, sort of memorization, pattern recognition.
Yeah.
And, like, your ability to gauge jump distances. For me, Crash Bandicoot was always the thing that, as a Nintendo kid, the first couple generations I played, made me very envious of PlayStation owners. So I would always go to friends' house or, like, my cousins, and I would play Crash Bandicoot or Spyro. And that was always very exciting for me, because it was something you couldn't play, at your house.
Yeah. The only time I didn't play any Crash Bandicoot when I was a kid, because I didn't know anybody with a PlayStation, but I was part of school-age care, which is basically, before school, if your parents had to work, then you went to school and did whatever. And they had a computer, and they had a Spyro game on it, so I played Spyro on there for a little bit.
Spyro's really fun.
But I've never... I somewhat played Crash Bandicoot. I think there was, a port on the Game Boy Advance that I played that wasn't very good.
This looks really pretty. This isn't a real level, it's just the intro. I think they added a thing where you can play as Coco now because she had specific levels in the original ones, but I think you can play as her in any level now.
Oh, cool.
Okay, I gotta get reaccustomed to this.
Yep.
So you can jump, you can spin, you can
slide,
and that's pretty much it. There's move upgrades in the third game, but not in the first two.
Okay.
And the other weird thing, it's I guess it's fully analog now, but the whole idea originally was that you could play it completely with the D-pad.
I don't like that.
Well, if you look at this, there's really no reason for he only has, let me see. Yeah, he has 2 speeds. He can walk or he can run. There's not a range of it. It's not variable. And since you're really only moving these directions, there's no reason for, if we do 2D sections, because there are 2D sections, if we get to that, I'll use D-pad just because it feels... I can't play 2D games with an analog stick. It's just weird for me.
I guess I haven't tried.
Well, when you played Tropical Freeze, did you do a D-pad?
No.
You used analog stick?
Yeah.
See, I can't do that. That bugs me.
Oh, I liked it. I thought it was fine.
I have to use...
I don't like using the D-pad, actually. I've never really enjoyed using it. I always felt like an analog stick is more intuitive.
For 2D games, though, your speed isn't that important, I think, for Donkey Kong Country. So there's really no reason to use it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm just used... I think it's the muscle memory kind of,
He wants us to collect the crystals so he can save the world, but I don't necessarily trust him because he's a bad guy.
Uh-oh.
So the big thing about Crash Bandicoot is if you just flounce your way through the levels, it's a very simple game. It's not that interesting.
Yeah.
The trick, though, and I'm not gonna 105% this game. I'm not gonna get the relics because the relics are really... The relic is like a time trial. But you can slow down time, and there's a lot of stuff you can do, so it's not a straight-up time travel. But there's some games, or some levels in this game that just suck, and I don't want to play them 6 times in a row just to get the relic. So the gem is the thing at the top.
Yep.
The purple crystal, you get that just from beating the level, basically. Yep. That's the middle thing. The gem is what you get for breaking all the boxes in a level, which that's where the real challenge comes from. And then some levels have colored gems, which have unique challenges. See, right there it says, be kind to boxes to earn a special gem. Now, it didn't have
boxes just want to be broken.
It didn't have any hints like that in the original game, but that's actually a hint on how to get the colored gem.
Oh.
That was like one of those things, like tricks in games back then, where you just, because the internet wasn't really that big, you just had to kind of know, like, oh, my friend did this, and it gets passed around.
Sure.
But
so when they say be kind of boxes, does that mean don't break any box?
Yep. If you get through the level without breaking any boxes, you get the colored gem.
Oh, gotcha.
But we have to do it again to do that.
Yep.
You have to break everyone to do that. Oh yeah, you have a belly flop too.
Ooh.
This game looks very pretty. Although,
it does.
I don't. Something about Crash's design here, I feel like it worked better when it was really simple polygons.
I feel his design is just kind of simple, pimple. Like
it is very well. All the good mascots have simple designs.
Yeah, but like even Mario or like they have more details to their design than Crash does right now. I don't know.
It seems about on par. The important thing, I think, and I think it was Matt Groening who said this, that every good character design is recognizable by a silhouette.
Yeah, that's true.
And
maybe it's honestly, I think it might be like the way he's shaped. I think it's just a little.
He doesn't have a neck, really.
It just seems a little different. I'm not sure how to describe it.
You get harder stuff too later on because they become paths.
Don't you want that apple?
Well, it's a Wumpa fruit.
Oh, sorry.
You don't need them. What gets harder later on is there become levels where there's only points you can get to if you haven't died in the level. And I die a lot, so... Yeah, you get an extra life if you get 100 of these. And what's nice, too, is they didn't have this in the original game. It was only the third one, is you have a counter for the boxes.
Oh, that's nice.
Which helps a lot in knowing, like, where you are. Now, those are nitro. You can't touch them.
Yeah. Or else they explode.
I mean, maybe we'll get to a point where David wants to try. If he's hardcore enough.
If I'm feeling it. I do. I mean, if it's similar to Donkey Kong Country,
that's what I would compare it to the most. Now, this is tricky. I think you have to... Yeah, you have to do it before he goes down. Yeah. And you really have to remember it. Like, you would never be able to, I think, 100% a level on the first try if you didn't play this game as a kid. And like, I just
know what's going on.
The way Crash is, the levels are so short, you can beat them in just like a minute or two if you skip things. So it never gets that frustrating. There's lots of checkpoints, and it's easy to remember a lot of things.
Ooh, what does that do?
These green exclamation things destroy all the nitro ones since you can't touch them. But it's right there, but in later levels they're like hidden, so you have to find it.
Gotcha. So like we could have skipped that entire thing.
Yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, I didn't even, because you have to belly flop. I didn't even know you could belly flop when I played it the first time. And obviously the mask is your hit points.
Yeah.
So you have none if you don't have a mask, and now I have 2. And when I get a third one, I'll get invincibility, and there's a part that I'm really bad at with that.
Travis, don't you want to go down all those holes and explore what's down there?
Well, that's another thing, is it's like Donkey Kong Country in the sense where you kind of have to play around and explore secrets, because there are parts where if you jump down random holes, you'll find something.
Yeah. Usually there's some kind of indication as to...
No. In this game, yeah, Donkey Kong Country sometimes is just like going to this random brush. Like, there are some really obtuse ones, but this is much more so obtuse. It had that hint at the loading screen, but that's something new they've added.
Gotcha.
I think it looks very pretty, though.
I do. I'm not sure about this camera. Maybe it's just like the way it is. I don't know.
You're just not used to it.
I think I'm just not used to it.
It works like, because this came out. This was, I mean, Super Mario 64 is like the daddy of 3D games.
Yeah.
But this came out first, and this was sort of the first interpretation of how a platformer would play in 3D. So it's just a 2D platformer like this, and yeah, you have no control over the camera. And what's really frustrating is there's parts where you have to backtrack, and you can't see anything. Obviously.
Yeah. But
it's not a perfect game. There are flaws to it, but I think it's very addicting and just very fun to play.
Yeah.
It's in the sense see, now I have invincibility, but it's useless because there's these stupid parts. Oh no, I can make the jump. So you run a little bit faster when you have invincibility. Usually I couldn't make that jump. See, like there I can. These parts are really stupid. I don't know if it was like for loading screens or what, but you just fight guys and then you can go up.
So let's talk a little bit about how people feel about this game.
Yeah, this remaster, it's the big meme going around is the reviewer who said, "Watch out, Binding of Isaac," and this is the new Darks. Did I get on? What the heck? What the heck did I miss? Okay, well that upsets me a little bit.
Right, let's backtrack.
I'm killing myself.
Uh-oh.
Something at this point. I'm just gonna restart the level, actually. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of this. Just bear with me, or I get told I'm not incredibly good at this game. But yeah, the big review thing now is that the game is difficult, so it is Dark Souls and Binding of Isaac.
I think though that with a game like this, where it's more like bright colors, kid-oriented kind of stuff, it's like not as acceptable for it to be difficult as a game like Binding of Isaac or Dark Souls, where it has that the design of it is like dark and grimy.
Well,
and
Crash Bandicoot at the time was sort of meant to invoke the same thing as Sonic. Mm-hmm. He was supposed to be edgier than Mario.
Yeah. But now, like, you just look at this and you're like, oh, this is like a colorful, fun game.
Well, I mean, if you're a young kid and you play this, you don't have to 100% it. You can just play the levels.
But what I mean is, like, with that reviewer, it's like, or people who are like, it's too hard, therefore it's not good. But Binding of Isaac's hard and it's good, and Dark Souls is hard and it's good. Why is that? And I feel like it's because of the aesthetics of those games. It's like, Dark Souls is dark, therefore it can be hard. And if I'm not good at something like Crash Bandicoot, because it's bright and shiny and has like easy enemies to kill and whatever, that must mean that the game's bad.
I think that's it's a really foolish perspective to have.
That's what I'm saying that people do have.
What I think it is I think it's just lazy because the games have nothing to do with each other besides difficulty. They're completely different genres.
It's lazy to compare them, yeah.
Well, I think it's just because like it's become sort of a meme that it's like Dark Souls is the hardest thing in the world, and it's like there's just nothing that the comparison holds no value.
Because they're not even trying to do the same things.
No, and they're just in tone, gameplay, and plus one's a remake, which also, and that was a really cool thing that I like, is they flat out said we don't want to change it to like we don't want to lessen the experience of the originals because we know it's very nostalgic for a lot of people. They basically, I don't think they changed the physics. I think what they did is they sort of made it so 1 and 2 have sort of the same controls as 3.
Gotcha.
But other than that, they didn't do anything to sort of lessen the experience, if you will. So, I think that's a really nice touch. And the visuals, I don't know, I'm half and half on them.
I don't know, it's definitely not the most polished, but...
I think it looks nice, but I think a simpler, more cartoony style fits the way the game works better. I don't like Crash's model, I think the environments, like this background and stuff, looks really pretty.
Yeah, yes. I feel like, I don't know, there's just something about his design that I just don't... I don't know. I've never really liked his design, so maybe that's why. I just feel like it's too simplistic.
I like it.
But, I mean... Maybe I'm just a Nintendo stan.
Well, I mean, Spyro's got a nice design, too, don't you think?
Yeah.
They're very much
I just feel like it's kind of like he's like a blob, almost.
I think it works. It's simple. It's very much the same. Like, I can tell they were very much inspired by Sonic, I think.
Oh, yeah.
They did it because they wanted it to be like... They didn't really want to compete with Mario. They wanted to try and do their own thing.
At that last checkpoint, it was 47 boxes.
Okay, well, I don't...
So I'm not sure.
I don't know what because this first level, I remember you don't even really have to think about it. So I don't know what I did. I was hoping, because usually these, like, this had the 5 counter. That other area didn't have a counter, so I don't know what I was missing there, but...
Weird.
I don't know, if we don't get it this time, we'll just come back. That's the other thing, is there's going to be a lot of coming back later, because sometimes I get too frustrated, and then I'll be like, we'll come... Well, that's what's nice about Crash Bandicoot, is it gives you, like, you don't have to do the levels in order necessarily. Oh, I got hit by that guy. You don't have to do the levels in order necessarily. You can sort of be like, oh, this frustrated me, I'm going to go do a different one.
Yeah, I get that.
And I like that a lot.
Well, it's the same thing with Mario, too.
It's the same thing with, like, well, some Mario. Like Mario 64.
Yeah, like Mario 64.
Or, like, Banjo-Kazooie and Tooie. I like being able to have that freedom. Oh, this is the one I missed. I see. So you gotta... Okay.
Ooh, there you go.
I didn't even see it. I should have known that was there, though. Okay. I hate these parts, because when you're doing time trials, there's, like, no... There's no real, like, effective way to do it. I think in the old games you could kind of cheese it and make the jump, but I tried doing that and I couldn't now. See, so the crystal is almost always just in plain sight when you're doing the level.
Yeah.
So you're basically supposed to get it on your first run, no matter what.
There we go.
Well, I just like going back to the thing. I just think it's lazy And, I mean, if you want to give the game a bad review, that's fine, but I think you need to justify your position. I don't think a game being, like, I think Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is too difficult for me to beat competently, but I still think it's a really good game. I'm just not good.
I love it. I think it's awesome. I can't believe it got a 6. I can't believe it got to 6.
I think, like I said, I can't think of any real complaints about that game. It's too hard for... Well, it's not even that it's difficult. It's just, like, you need to have the ability to retry and not get frustrated and not sort of tilt situation. Okay, what are we at time-wise? Okay, I'm going to stop, and then we'll get the blue gem on this.
Okay.
Actually, that shouldn't have taken 2 runs.
Oh, what's going on?
It's, he's happy that we got the crystals.
Cortex.
So I kind of get this now. I was confused as a kid. If you're supposed to be getting the crystals for him, why are the guys attacking you? But it's actually the other professor's guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's definitely not the original voice actor. But this, I mean, I guess is a simple plot, because obviously he's nefarious.
Yeah.
He's got an N on his forehead. But, I don't know, we'll talk more about some of the other Crash conventions. Like, I have to figure out how to do it, but I think you can play as her. Okay, we'll come right back.
Bye!